All set on a Super Sunday for the second T20I between India and Australia of the series. Really dramatic first one to kick the series off at the Manukau Oval in Canberra, where India have now won both their games, the last ODI and the first T20I. The action moves back to the Sydney Cricket Ground, where Australia outplayed India in the first two one-day internationals. It's an SCG that will now welcome as many fans as that can make it on this Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. And who knows, we could even end the evening with a full house. It's ESPN Cricket for Matchday. We're looking ahead to the game with Tom Moody and Gautam Gambhir. It's a host of changes from both teams. Can understand that with injuries and management for the big test series ahead, but no changes on our panel. We like the performance of Gautam and Tom so far. They stick with us. We do know that Matthew Wade is leading Australia for the first time, Tom Moody, and as he said at the toss, everyone seems to be falling down. So it's his job to come to lead now.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? No one ever thought that Matthew Wade would captain Australia. Certainly nothing against Matthew Wade, but it just goes to show how deep they've had to dig. But the other point, it shows that clearly there's no sign from the Australian selectors that they see Steve Smith taking that role as captain.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? Got the man with the experience, has formidable record as captain. Yes, he's had that year or so in international cricket, but he's come back. A T20 franchise is happy to give him captaincy, but Australia aren't going anywhere near that.
Well, that was a bit of a surprise as well, because I thought that Steve Smith should be captaining the side. Yes, obviously he's made a mistake and he's accepted. He's regretted about it. He's obviously gone through the fine as well. But then again, now it's time to move on. So I personally, just my personal observation, that he should still captain the side.
He's done his time. Isn't that the feeling, Tom? I know we're digressing a little from the game itself, but since you brought up the point, he's done his time. There should be no problem in giving Smith the captaincy if it falls on him, especially on occasions like this.
Yeah, look, I absolutely he's done his time. And let's also clarify the fact that, he was overseeing that situation, but he wasn't actually in contact and involved in it directly. He was involved with it indirectly. But I think what it tells you is that the Australian selectors, and I'm only taking this as my view on it, is they're probably thinking that they just want Steve Smith as the batsman because he's been prolific, as we know, through mainly 50-over cricket and Test cricket, and they don't want to take any of that away from him by giving him the added responsibility as captain.
See, Ronak, again, one more thing. He had done his time the day he accepted his mistake. Not a lot of people do accept that mistake. And especially as Tom just mentioned, he was not involved directly. And it takes a lot of courage. And that is what leaders are all about. That was the day for me he became a leader, not a captain. When he actually went and did the press conference and he said that, yes, we made a mistake. People do make mistakes. So it's time to move on. And I actually want to see Steve Smith actually captaining the test side going forward. It's fine. People make mistakes. And actually, he's the right candidate to be leading Australia, at least in the test format.
All right. Now, there is some chit-chat on whether Steve Smith himself is up for the job for Australia or no, whether he just wants to focus on his batting. But putting all things in perspective, it's an interesting call. Matthew Wade will lead this team. Let's go to the team itself. Start with India. They've made 3 changes. One of them forced Ravindra Jadeja, now ruled out of the tournament after that incident in the first T20, which also sparked a debate on the concussion sub. We don't know the injury is a little more serious now, so hope he recovers soon. Shardul Thakur was called in as cover for Ravindra Jadeja, and he makes his first appearance, had a good third ODI in Canberra, and now replaces Mohammad Shami, who had an off day in the first T20I. Shreyas Iyer comes in for Manish Pandey, who Virat Kohli says has an elbow niggle, so just the one outing for Pandey. In comes Shreyas Iyer, who featured in the ODI series, and Yuzvendra Chahal, who was man of the match after coming on as concussion sub. That could be a quiz question in years to come. Now makes his place in the 11 itself. Let's go to those changes, Gautam. Shardul Thakur, Chahal seemed like a straight swap for Jadeja. Thakur and Shreyas Iyer come in. Thoughts on that?
For me, I think now it's a great opportunity for someone like Washington Sundar to be batting at number 7 and probably contributing with the bat, because you don't get these kind of opportunities. You don't see Ravindra Jadeja, to be honest, getting injured because he's a really, really fit cricketer. So if you've got this opportunity, you should try and grab it with both hands. Yes, he's a very, very good T20 bowler, but now it's time if he can actually bat at number 7, because we've been talking about it, that whether he actually can be a 6th bowler in the one-day format and can he contribute with the bat. So what better opportunity today?
Tom, you'd endorse that as well. Washington Sundar has a high reputation. He's open for Tamil Nadu in domestic T20 cricket, and this is an opportunity perhaps for India.
Yeah, he's clearly got the pedigree, hasn't he? So, anyone that's opening or batting in the top order through their domestic system clearly shows they've got the capabilities, and all they need now is the opportunity. And as Gotham quite rightly said, this is a perfect opportunity for him to, nail down that role as a number 7, if not possibly moving into that number 6 position over time.
As we look at that team again, one non-selection does surprise me though, which is Mayank Agarwal, Gautam. The tour match has started 12 kilometers away at the Dramion Oval in Sydney, where India have started day one's proceedings. There was no Mayank Agarwal there. Shubman and Prithvi open, and the rest of the test specialists were there. I thought if they didn't send him for the tour game, that he'd at least get a game in the T20. Are you surprised that neither of those two things has happened?
See, probably they just want to keep him in the squad just as a backup for if someone gets injured like Shikhar Dhawan or KL Rahul. But again, if he's not in the scheme of things in T20 cricket, he should be playing a 3-day game, because I think he needs to get ready for 4 test matches, which is going to be the most important format on this entire tour. But if he was not supposed to be part of this T20, he should have been playing today.
Yeah, you go with that, Tom?
100%. The value of him spending a day at the crease like Ajinkya Rahane has today is just so invaluable in preparation for the Test series. If they have no intentions whatsoever to play him in these T20s, it does seem strange that he's not having that opportunity to do that in preparation.
Yeah, it's not happened today. Now, dare I say it, but in the event of someone having a head injury today, then he's the only batsman in the reserves who's fit enough to come on as a concussion sub, if you want to go down that lane. But other than that, you take Tom Moody and Gautam Gambhir's point, he should have ideally played that tour game if he's not part of the T20s. Shardul Thakur wasn't part of the T20I squad initially, Gautam. He came in as cover for Ravindra Jadeja and had a very good third ODI. It's probably an opportunity for Shardul Thakur also to cement his place in the 15 for ODI and T20I cricket, and not just as a reserve.
See, every opportunity when you play for your country, especially when you've got people like Mohammad Shami, Jasprit Bumrah, all those guys, when they come back, they do come back into the playing 11. When they're not playing and you get that opportunity, it's a great opportunity to try and put your hand up and say that, yes, I'm always there. So, yes, another great opportunity, because we saw what he can deliver, what he can do in the 50-over format. But now it's another opportunity. He might get another opportunity in the next game. So when you get these kind of opportunities, because I think from the fast bowling point of view in white ball cricket, now you've got Natarajan, Jasprit Bumrah is probably the best in the world, Mohammad Shami, Bhuvneshwar Kumar when he comes in. So obviously, whatever opportunity you get, you should try and grab it with both hands. And it's another opportunity. And I'm sure that he has the experience. He's had a reasonably good IPL when he played for CSK. He can actually chip in with the bat. He's not probably number 7 for you, but he can be number 8 who can actually probably get you those 10, 15 runs. But yes, overall, he's a decent package in T20 cricket.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Is he come in just as a bowler, or the fact that Chahal has come in for Jadeja, which significantly weakens that middle order, Tom? All of a sudden, when you have Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur and Deepak Chahar instead of, Mohammad Shami coming in at potentially 8, does it look like a slightly better insurance towards the end, a better batting lineup?
I don't believe so. If we're talking 50-over cricket, yeah, I think it's important to maybe have a little bit of depth around that 7, 8, 9. But 20-over cricket, if your top 5 can't do the heavy lifting, well, you're not going to win many games of T20 cricket anyway. The real opportunity and the main work, batting work that is done by the top 5. Number 6 and 7 do a finishing role from time to time, but really you need big runs from your top 5.
Or unless you're Andrew Russell, Ronak. Because I've seen when Andrew Russell played for KKR, he actually won us the game at number 7. But there are not many like Andrew Russell going forward in world cricket. I don't see anyone apart from Andrew Russell, or for that matter, to some extent, Karan Pollard. But if someone, or Hardik Pandya, to be honest, if he bats at number 7. But if Hardik Pandya and all these 3 guys do not bat at number 7, I don't see Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur will be able to chase 10 or 15 runs per over.
It's an opportunity. It was Ravindra Jadeja at 7 who made a difference with the bat last game. Can India find something like that? They hope they don't need to. They were a pretty strong batting, but this time they're going to be chasing. Perhaps that helps the likes of Virat Kohli in white ball cricket. Let's go to Australia's team, shall we? And there are 3 changes there. To Aaron Finch, who's struggling with his hip. A scan revealed that he can't be playing this one. So Matthew Wade captains. We've touched upon that. The change that has been made is that Marcus Stoinis, who missed out after the first ODI after bowling 7 overs in that game in Sydney, is now fit and back. And Daniel Sams comes in for Mitchell Starc, who's been given compassionate leave on account of a family illness. Andrew Tye comes in for Josh Hazelwood, who also has a bit of a niggle. Let's start with the bowling changes first, Tom. Sams gets a T20I debut, highly rated in the Big Bash, had a cold IPL in the few opportunities that he got. Here he is now making his T20 international debut. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I think that's a great opportunity for him, and it's also a good opportunity for the Australian selectors just to see exactly where Daniel Sams fits into their T20 plans. He does provide that variety as another left-arm option. He's got the skills to swing the new ball. He's got the skills at the end of the innings to bowl, the back of the hand change-ups, also bowl those Yorkers. So it's a great opportunity for him. It's not going to be easy for any bowler, I think, in Sydney, because if we have a surface, anything like we had in the ODIs, we're in for a bit of a run feast. So your defensive skills have to be right on top. So look, it's great for him. He's also capable with the bat. He's a good striker of the ball down the order. So in a way, these injuries have done him, and I think the Australians selectors a favour in that they can at least have a look at him for a game or two.
It does seem like a weekend bowling lineup, though, Gautam. Starc and Hazelwood out and Sams and Tye in. Opportunity for India to seal the T20 series.
See, it might not hurt Australia that badly because this is T20 cricket. And yes, had it been 50-over cricket, yes, you can say that this looks a very, very weak bowling lineup, especially with Andrew Tye, Daniel Sams, and Sean Abbott, because they don't have the pace or a caliber or a class of Josh Hazelwood, Pat Cummins, and Mitchell Starc. But then T20 cricket, yes, you can have those variations. Probably you might be more successful because if you see Mitchell Starc as well, Mitchell Starc's been a very good white ball bowler, but he struggled. Pat Cummins was not there. But I really want to see how Daniel Sams goes in this game, because if he can actually swing the ball back in, he's going to be a great asset even in one-day cricket. Someone who can swing the ball back in with the new ball will always be a massive threat. And then if he can actually bowl well in the death overs, it actually sorts one option. Yeah. They can have another option in the 50-over format as well, because they actually struggle with their death bowling, because Josh Hazelwood has not been the best death ball bowler. So if Daniel Sams can do something like that, if he can deliver in the death overs, and today's got to be a great, great test for him, because actually they would be defending. So let's see how he goes, and probably another option which any country would want to have, left-arm spinner, seamer who can actually swing and bowl well in the death.
Yeah, that's the other one, isn't it, Tom? We've touched upon it. Death bowling is a concern, so they're waiting for someone to put their hand up, whether that's Sams on debut or even Andrew Tye, who comes with a reputation, to find an answer to those death bowling woes for Australia, especially in T20.
Yeah, well, the bowlers they've picked, even though they don't have the international reputation yet, have got those skills and the subtle variations. They've certainly built their reputation as cricketers that can survive in that pace in the pace of T20 cricket. Just looking also at the two bowling attacks that are playing in this game, they're not too dissimilar. The Indian attack doesn't have a great amount of experience either, so it really is pretty much the same as what the Australians is that it's, they've got a few bowlers that have got international exposure, but not many that have got great experience. So to me, it's really a matchup against who bats the best against and exploits the inexperience of each other's bowling attack. So it's going to be an intriguing contest, even though we don't have what we think are possibly the big names that are playing in the game, like your Bumrahs and your Shamis and your Mitchell Starcs and Hazlewoods and so on. So, it's going to be, I think it's going to be the team that bats the best is going to, win this contest.
And Ronald, it's a great opportunity for both the bowling lineups actually to put their hand up, because T20 World Cup is 10 months away. So yes, these are opportunities where any young cricketer would thrive on and say that, yes, I won that opportunity. And if I can actually deliver, you could be part of that squad going into the World Cup as well. And all the sides, whether it's India or Australia, would be looking at options who can actually bowl with the new ball and who can actually deliver in the death overs as well. Because when the World Cup happens in India, it's going to be flat tracks. We all know that. So these are great opportunities for both the bowling lineups.
All right. I'd like to look at both batting lineups now. And let's start with Australia's, because there's a question on who opens in the absence of Aaron Finch. Matthew Wade has opened before when he's deputized for David Warner in the series in England. But Marcus Stoinis got truckloads of runs in the BBL batting up top. We know he likes to bat up top. Tom, how would you go today?
I think I'm putting these selectors' hat on, and I think they're going to stick with Wade at the top and maintain Stoinis' role as the finisher at the back end. I think they've seen what he's done in the IPL and how effective he did that for Delhi Capitals. I think also they've made it very clear to Stoinis about 6 months ago that they don't see him, forcing his way into the side as an opener, but they do see him forcing his way into the side as a finisher that can be that sixth bowler. I'll be surprised if we see Stoinis the bowler tonight because of his injury, but I think he's clearly fit enough to play as a batsman. But I see him not moving from 5 or 6.
All right, that's interesting. Now, I know, Gautam, you have an interesting take on finishers, right? Anyone can be a finisher, including a top-order batsman, but it does seem like that in general in world cricket now, it's harder to find a batsman in the middle order who can take responsibility and have an impact, finish off games. So the minute a player comes in like Marcus Stoinis who shows that, teams want to try and make that work.
100%. I would not push Marcus Stoinis at the top of the order. If I had to push someone, I would actually push someone like Steve Smith, because India would start with definitely Washington Sundar, and you want to have a right-hander in front of Washington Sundar. So I might just push Darcy Short at number 3, or even Matthew Wade at number 3, but I would not have 2 left-handers if you want to take that punt. But imagine if you have Glenn Maxwell and Marcus Stoinis batting at 5 and 6. And with the kind of form Marcus Stoinis is in with the bat, and especially in a T20 format, these 2 guys can hurt you, and these guys can actually win your game from any situation. And it's absolutely spot on what Tom just said, that why would you want to have someone like Marcus Stoinis with his strength, with his ability to hit those big shots, push him at the top of the order, when you've got someone like Steve Smith who does not have the strength of Marcus Stoinis? If you want to take that punt, you'd rather take that punt with Steve Smith rather than Marcus Stoinis, because if Marcus Stoinis have to play that role of a number 6 in the T20 World Cup, so just let him get used to that role. Rather than just saying because you don't have Aaron Finch and he's in a very good form, just push him up. So I personally would see that Glenn Maxwell and Marcus Stoinis batting together.
All right, maybe adds a little more balance. In fact, as it turns out, the inclusion of Marcus Stoinis, and he comes off a great IPL, let's not forget that. Conversely, if you look at India's batting, the fact that Manish Pandey is out and in comes Shreyas Iyer, in some ways you could say, Gautam, that it's even more top-heavy than it was last game. Yes, Pandey also bats at 3 in the IPL, but is looked at as someone who can bat more freely at 5, 6 than perhaps some of the others. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of whom like to bat top 3. Does that even look more top heavy for you?
Well, I don't think so, because it's more like to like as well. If you see, there's hardly any difference between Shreyas Iyer and Manish Pandey. Both would want to bat at number 3. Both have actually batted at number 3, especially for the IPL franchise. So it's hardly any makes a difference, because whoever comes in will actually have to bat at number 4, number 5. So they got to get used to it, because once Rohit Sharma comes in, or for example, if you have to be part of the T20 World Cup side and in the playing 11, you would have to be batting at number 4, because Virat Kohli will bat at number 3. So it's either 4 or 5 which is available. So they got to get just used to it, whether it's Manish Pandey or Shreyas Iyer. So, and there's hardly any difference, to be honest, because both of them are quality players. They can actually hit a long ball. So again, it's a great opportunity for Shreyas Iyer now.
This thing of having too many batsmen that want to bat up top, Tom, is it a bigger deal when teams bat first? Does it get a bit easier when teams know what they're chasing?
No, I don't think so. I'm a big believer of making sure you're picking players that have got experience in those positions. And I know India, like Australia, are trying to find their best combination with these World Cups coming up. But to me, when I look at that Indian middle order, to me it does look very crowded, where a lot of players ideally want to be in that top 3 position, but aren't there. And I just wonder whether the likes of someone like Pant, who's not on tour, is better suited coming in at number 5 or number 4 than Iyer or Sampson. He's a left-hander also. That gives you that left-hander in the middle order, which is critical against spin. I know they've moved on from him from a short-term point of view, but I just think from a long-term point of view, he is more suited, and I'm sure there's other players are more suited to be batting at 5 and 6 than what they have currently in their squad and available.
Gautam, would you go with that? That there are a lot of players that have had good IPLs and perhaps earned a place in the T20I side, but does that sometimes come in the way of what role of a batsman, what type of batsman do you need in your ideal T20I 11?
See, I would definitely keep Pant around the squad. Just don't take him away from the squad as well. And today was another good opportunity. Yes, I've said that he needs to work on his mental side of the game, his technical side of the game as well. But then today was a great opportunity. If you can actually have Pant, you can actually keep with him, and Sanju Samson can bat at number 4. Rishabh Pant can bat at number 5, and then you've got Hardik Pandya, and you get another left-hander in the middle, especially against this kind of a bowling lineup who've got 2 leg spinners. So you would want to have a left-hand batsman in the middle order. So you would want to keep him around the squad. It's not important that to play him each and every game, but just by not keeping him in the squad, actually you dent his confidence even more, because you're never sure whether he's actually going to start in the 4 test matches as well, whether that's going to happen or not happen. So you got to give him whatever opportunities are available if you're looking at him as a long-term option for you, especially in 50 overs and white ball cricket, and in the 3 formats. So today was another great opportunity, because Shreyas Iyer, yes, you've seen what he can do for you. Your Sanju Samson, you want to give him a go as many games as you can, but Rishabh Pant was an ideal opportunity to do today if he was there in the squad today.
Can I just add to that? To me, if you look at that current Indian team that's playing today, and even the one that played and won the first game, you put Punt in that team, it looks a better team, without a doubt, because it covers off all those challenges that a team faces, during a T20 match. He gives you the left-hander option in the middle order, which is great against the spin, so you can't get challenged through matchups with, various, leg break or left arm spin or off spin matchups. He also is more of a dynamic player. He's more of a boundary hitter. He's someone that can get a 60 off 40 balls very easily, which he has shown. And I think it can be potentially very short-sighted by benching him and not having him available on that tour. And we talk about the fact that he's got to work on his mental game. We've got to talk on his technical game, and also physically. We noted that physically he wasn't in the best shape during the IPL, but the best way to develop your assets is to have them under your feet and have them working around you in a very professional environment. And, to me, Pant is a long-term asset to Indian cricket, and I'd have him within arm reach every single time in all 3 formats.
Ronak, I just want to think out of the box. Sure. Had Pant been there around the group, if India seals the series today, probably give him a go in place of Shikhar and make him open the batting. Because you want to have another alternate to someone like Shikhar. If he can actually deliver at the top of the order, KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant, because you will give him that freedom. It's always difficult to bat at number 5 and 6 in any format, especially in white ball cricket. And he's actually opened in first-class cricket in a T20 format, and he's got hundreds when he's opened for Delhi. So why not just keep him around the group? Shikhar has played all the 5 games. Yes, had it been a decider, you would want to go with Shikhar. But if India wins the series today, give Rishabh Pant a go probably in the next game, had it been around at the top of the order as well, and see what he delivers.
All right. Makes for an interesting debate every time we bring up Rishabh Pant, but for good reason that we do bring him up. He is part of the test squad. He lost his place in the ODI. He hasn't been picked in the 11 for the tour game, which has first-class status. There would be 11 players playing that one. But Ridhiman Saha has got the nod there. So Rishabh Pant continues to at least warm the benches. We don't know what the fitness update is there, but interesting points from both Gautam Gambhir and Tom Moody. Right, Matthew Wade and Darcy Shaw have come out to open. So it is 2 left-handers. Deepak Chahar has the new ball. It should be a given that Washington Sundar will get it either at the other end or sooner rather than later, Gautam?
100%. He's going to open the bowling, and he's done brilliantly whenever he's opened the batting. It's a bit of a surprise, because definitely I would want to have a right-hander, especially when you know that India would start with Deepak Chahar and Washington Sundar. But again, let's see how both these left-handers goes again against Washington Sundar, because it's going to be hard for both these left-handers to take him on.
Have Australia missed a trick here? We'll find out in a bit, Tom, but have they missed a trick here with 2 left-handers?
Yeah, look, potentially, or maybe they're just taking the view that Smith is the long-term number 3. Let's don't rock the batting order just on the basis we're sort of inundated with injuries, and we back the 2 left-handers to navigate against the spin. If anything, it's great opportunity for them to defy the odds against the matchup of the right arm off spin against the left-hand batters.
All right. Well, let's pick this conversation up in 20 overs time. Thank you to Tom Moody and Gautam Gambhir. More from them on our mid-inning show on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Remember, viewers in India and in the subcontinent, you can catch clips, highlights, and all the best bits of action as they happen on espncricinfo.com as well as the mobile apps. In case you miss it or you want to watch it over and over again, just head over to the site. We'll be back for mid-innings analysis, so do join us there.